What's going on, everyone? Sebastian here. Today I have some pretty awesome content for you guys. Today I'm going to show you exactly how you can launch any product on Amazon to page one using my BAZOOKA strategy. Now, the reason why I call this particular method of launching products the BAZOOKA strategy is because it's basically a massive explosion of traffic, right? The name of the game when your product is brand new on Amazon is traffic and sales. So I'm going to show you guys how to generate sales using social media, Amazon PPC, and chatbots. So I'm going to go ahead and dig into this. This guide is actually only available in my online course. So this is the first time I'm sharing it with you guys. So that way in 2019, you guys can crush your goals and share all your success stories in the comments below. So let's go ahead and dig in here. Now, first things first, we have to clarify what exactly a launch is and why it's so important. So basically, a launch is getting as many sales as possible within a 15 to 30 day period. Sometimes it's a little bit longer, but primarily your main focus is those first 2 to 4 weeks your product is live on Amazon. And the reason why it's so important is because you'll need to prove to Amazon that your product is in demand. So when your listing is brand new, a lot of people don't know this, but your product has sort of a favoritism in Amazon's eyes. It's easier for you to rank a product once it's fresh. It has like a sweetheart period to it, which is about 2 weeks. So if you can have a strong launch within those 2 weeks, since your product won't have any negative sales history, because zero sales history is not necessarily negative sales history. It just means you're brand new. So in Amazon's eyes, you're still put favorite over other sellers who maybe have been selling for a while now, but they weren't able to have a successful launch. There could be a lot of reasons to that. And you'll probably outrank them faster with a brand new listing, because what's hurting those other Amazon sellers, sometimes when they're doing a relaunch, not always, sometimes relaunches work pretty well. But generally speaking, you'll have an uphill battle trying to relaunch a product that's staled in sales. Sales have been scattered here and there because you already have a track record in Amazon's eyes of having bad sales history. So you trying to relaunch is just so much harder because you have that working against you. And so this strategy works particularly well for newer products on Amazon. Again, I'm not saying relaunches don't work necessarily. I'm just saying brand new products work a whole lot better. And so, like I was saying, the name of the game is sales, sales, sales. So when your listing's brand new, sales is the name of the game. And, another thing is that one of the key ingredients to an Amazon seller's success is organic sales. I'm pretty sure that goes without saying, but it's kind of like it's called a flywheel. And I'm going to go ahead and get into that right now. But in order to get those organic sales, you must first rank high in the search terms for the keywords that are actually most relevant to your product. So once you rank on page one, you get the organic sales, and those sales hold your positioning. The organic sales hold your positioning, and that then begins to create momentum where you start to rank for all your other keywords that you're trying to target. So this is how it's going to look. Once you start building that momentum, I'm going to get into the launch right now. I'm just kind of getting that preface for you. Once you start building that momentum, this is what I call a flywheel. And a flywheel is basically a business that continues to improve on itself as you get more customers, meaning your success is largely determined by your launch. A flywheel continually feeds off the success of its last action. So you can think of a flywheel on Amazon, for example. They get more sellers, means they have more selection. If they have more selection, there's better prices for consumers. If there's better prices for consumers, more consumers come to the platform. If more consumers come to the platform, then more sellers join the platform, and you can see how it just feeds upon itself, right? So your listing, your launch is to hold the strong positioning, conversions. There's a whole lot of things that are going to go into it that I'm about to cover, but basically a flywheel gets better and better over time. So I'm going to show you how to set that up today. Now, before we get into the actual launch strategy, let's go ahead and go over a pre-launch checklist. So these are things you're going to need to have, and you cannot overlook these at all, because if you have a launch and you overlook the things we're about to go over in the pre-launch checklist, it's going to do more harm than good, and you're going to have to rinse, repeat, and do this again and again until you get it right. So it's better to get this right the first time and then do the launch. One second, my throat was getting dry. All right, so a pre-launch checklist. Your listing must be fully optimized. You've probably heard this everywhere, and the reason why you've heard it in every video, every training you've ever seen is because it's so important. And you have your title, your description, your bullet points. They all need to have juicy keywords in there, and those keywords must be 100% relevant to your product. And typically, you'll want to have most of your long tail keywords in the actual product description. And you'll have your main keyword that's, again, 100% relevant to your product. You're going to want to have that in the title for sure. And the first 3 bullet points are your main bullet points, because those are the 3 that show up on mobile. So you want to fill out all 5, but the top 3 are the most important. So make sure you have your best features and benefits in those top 3 in those first 3 bullet points. I'm sorry. That way you can leverage those on mobile, and be sure that those first 3 bullet points have really good keywords in there as well. So, in addition to the keywords, your back end is also so important. So you're gonna have to do research, get all your back end search terms in there up to 250 characters. Now, one of the other most important points to having a pre-launch is your photos. So the reason why photos are so important is because they tell a story without any words, essentially, and you want to tell an amazing story by having amazing pictures, right? If you have amazing pictures, they must be professionally taken. If you have amazing pictures, customers are gonna trust your brand more. You don't even necessarily have to have the best product, but if you can have the best pictures, the pictures say 1,000 words. So if you can have your pictures professionally taken, have some infographics in there. If you have enhanced brand content, make sure you're utilizing that. Videos, if you have a registered trademark, all of these things are going to tie together for both back end and front end keywords. And also they have images there. So images are so important because, especially for enhanced brand content, there's no customers just scroll and the images just show up. It's not like another feature they have to click on. So your images are like right there in their face. So if you can have amazing infographics, if you have enhanced brand content, make sure it's all done professionally. If you don't have enhanced brand content, then make sure that you hire a professional, you have a few shots sent back to you, and you can survey customers like on Facebook if you have a group, or I know there's some companies out there that can actually survey your hero shot for you. I don't know the name of them off the top of my head. That way you can get a good understanding of which hero images are going to convert the best. And if you don't want to use a poll and just want to split test yourself, go ahead and have at least 2 or 3 very good hero images taken of your product, and go ahead and switch them out during the launch between 3 to 4 days and measure your conversion rate. So that was a pretty high level tip there. You don't know necessarily if your very first hero image, which is your main image, is going to be the #1 converting image on your listing. So you want to have a couple of those taken. That way you can split test your main image, and it's super important for conversions. Now, it's actually, think of it this way. If, I can be the best guy in the world and I'm talking to a woman, let's just say, but if I'm, dressed like a bum, maybe just a t-shirt and whatever, like shorts, baggy shorts or whatever, and I try to talk to a girl, even if I was an amazing person, looks tell it all. So if she's like, man, this guy kind of looks like a bum, I'm not going to convert. I'm not going to get any of these women interested because of my appearance. So presentation is so important. You want to think of it that way. You can have an amazing product. I mean, your product can be absolutely killer, but if the presentation is not done right, then you're going to have to keep launching a product until you get the presentation point right. So I didn't mean to take that long on photos, so let's go ahead and move forward. Okay, whoops. Cool. And also, lastly, your price must be competitive. So the purpose of a launch is to make sales as quickly as possible, which means you may not be profitable right away. You can be profitable right away, but that's not necessarily your main objective during the launch period. Your main objective is either to break even, or even if you have to take a little bit of a loss, that's fine, because again, the name of the game is sales. If Amazon's a long-term business for you, just like with any business, you have upfront cost, right? You're not profitable immediately. If I were to open up a mom and pop shop, for example, I'm not going to be profitable the first day. I would never open up a mom and pop shop. I'm just trying to tell you, you need to have a long-term mentality. You're not going to get rich overnight. That's a terrible mentality to have. It's better to have a long-term goal, at least 12 months of consistency. Those first 3 months are going to be primarily focused on growing your brand awareness, growing your sales, and overall increasing your sales velocity. That way, over time, let's say after that 3-month mark, you're going hard on the PPC and everything I'm about to show you right now. Then you start to get profitable, right? And then, just like any other business, you need to have some sort of business logic to it, because I've helped, a lot of sellers, and some of them tell me, I'm going to do a launch, and the next day they're saying, well, how come I'm not profitable? I'm like, well, hold your horses. It's, depends on how competitive the niche is, and there's a whole lot of factors that go into it. But during the launch, your main focus is just sales, right? So again, you're not going to open up a mom and pop shop and get rich overnight. It's going to take time. You're going to have your costs that you're going to have to recover for paying the rent and getting the supplies, paying your employees, etc., etc. So those are all upfront costs that can't be covered until your company starts to flip a profit. So it can take that same basic business logic to Amazon. Okay. So lastly on the pre-launch checklist is, or not lastly, but next on the pre-launch checklist is, you have to also know what your differentiating factor is. Selling products without a differentiating factor will make it hard for you to succeed on Amazon, okay? So, for example, if you're selling a ladder or a garlic press, I'm sure people are killing it with ladders and garlic presses, but if you don't have a feature that makes your product unique, and there's a aspect of it that's differentiated or that's actually improved on from your competition, you're going to position yourself in a much stronger place, because yes, there's probably enough room in the sea for everyone to go in and get a few fish in there, but ultimately you don't want to try to compete. Your goal should be domination. So if you want to dominate, you have to go into your market sector and really do something different. Is it better, cheaper, right? Is it more appealing? Does it solve more problems for the customer? Or is it just a ladder? Ladders and garlic presses solve problems. But if there's a million people selling the same thing, if sales are good, it's better to look into, okay, how can I make this ladder even better, right? So, when you're going into it, always think to yourself, how can I differentiate my product, make it better, and bring it to the marketplace? Because it's a terrible idea to say, me too on Amazon, because you're going to get flushed out really quickly, because that's what's happening on Amazon right now, right? They're squeezing out all of the Me Too Amazon business owners, and they're bringing in all the people who have, differentiated products, a high level of customer service, high quality products. And so you want to keep that in mind. Know what your differentiating factor is. Okay. And a super tip, when you're doing all of this, you should analyze your competitors' bullet points, titles, descriptions, and see what the common denominators are, so that way you can model a similar copywriting plan. Now, I'm not saying plagiarize or copy them. I'm saying model your competitors, right? Get your top 5 main competitors, get their title, their description, and their bullet points, and see what the common denominators are, right? Are the first 3, what features are they listing in the first column, the second, and the third? Do these 5 competitors have some of these things in common? If so, it's probably telling you, you know, they let your competitors do a lot of the heavy lifting. Again, it might not even be exactly the same product, right? You don't necessarily want to have the exact same product. You want to have a differentiated product. But overall, with the product, the problem the product is solving, if you can arrange the solution that, you know, the bullet points of your competitors have listed, look at the sequential order of them, model that. They did the heavy lifting for you, model it, get a copywriter in there, and you know, use that as a skeleton, if you will, to then begin putting in your unique features and benefits. And also the title, right? So, excuse me one second. All right, back. Your title, you want to make sure, again, look at your competitor's title, look at the order, the string of keywords that they have, look at the verbiage that they're using, how they're using it, and you're going to want to go ahead and, again, model their format, the keywords that they're using, where they're using them, and go ahead and put your unique brand into that model and then create it from there. It's really good to analyze and model, because when you do that, you save a lot of time and a lot of money through trial and error. If you can model, you know, the best sellers, they already know the orders that the customers are buying them in, model it. So it makes your life so much easier. Now, it also tells you if they are doing, you know, well on Amazon, that means their messaging and their specific placement for their message, you know, the way their listing is arranged is already effective. So that's a good, you know, key indicator that, you know, the way they've structured their messaging is going to be ideal for you too. So lastly, on the pre-launch checklist is you'll have to determine the amount of units you need to give away. I use a tool called Cerebro by Helium 10. And basically, you know, what a giveaway is you have to determine if you want to make it to page 1 for your, you know, X keyword, you have to determine the sales velocity that you're going to have to hit in order to rank on page 1 and keep up with the big dogs. So a good way and a good tool to use that is Helium 10 by, Cerebro by Helium 10. This tool will basically, what it does is it reverse engineers your main competitors, and it will show you exactly what pages your competitors are ranking on and for what keywords, you know, they're ranking, which is incredible. There's no other software quite like it, and it's pretty powerful stuff. So on the right hand side though, you're going to actually see, once you put in your competitors ASIN, Cerebro is going to do its thing. It's going to reverse engineer the listing. You're going to see, you know, for the keywords you want to target, again, that are 100% relevant to your business, you're going to see the daily and total giveaways that you're going to have to achieve in order to, you know, rank on page 1 and stay there. And also it gives you a good indicator, it's also a good indicator of the inventory levels that you're going to need. So, you know, no tool is going to be exact, but this one's pretty, you know, it's not an exact science, I should say, but it's pretty powerful. It's a pretty powerful place to start. So I recommend using that tool. And again, just copy and paste your competitor's ASIN in Cerebro, and let Cerebro do the hard work for you, and then mine the data from there. And so I'm just going to move this down. And so, you know, when you're finding the right keywords, you should also use a tool also by Helium 10. I love Helium 10. I use all their tools. It's called Magnet. So what Magnet's going to do is it's actually going to go ahead and show you which keywords you should pepper into your listing, and the keywords you're going to want to put in your listing when you're starting to do your, you know, when you're creating your listing or when you're starting to structure your PPC campaigns. You want to find the balance between high volume and low competition, right? So you want words that are high volume, low competition, and get those keywords, and that's a good place to start and putting those in your actual listing. So now let's dig into the launch. There we go. Cool. So now where we're at here is phase 1. So phase 1 is influencers. Now we're finally getting into the launch phase. There's 3 phases. The first phase is influencers, and what influencers do is, I'm pretty sure you already know this, but they basically are a brand or entity that have massive amounts of reach. So they've done all the hard work, they've built an audience. So your job is to come up to these influencers and put a product in front of their audience. That way your product gets immediate access to thousands of people, at once. So you can do this manually. There's no problem doing it manually. You'll just have to, search on YouTube and Instagram and type in some of the keywords related to your niche or product and see who comes up and manually email them. And you can probably do it on an Excel spreadsheet. But for the sake of time and for the sake of, making things as easy as possible, I like to use a tool called FameBit. And what FameBit is it's basically a marketplace for influencers and brand owners to meet. So go to famebit.com, and once you create an account, you're gonna have to activate your product on their platform. So once it's activated, submit it, and you should have influencers applying to your product, within the next day or so. And you're gonna want to find influencers with under 100,000 followers for the best results. Pay no more than $50 for each influencer, and the reason for that is because, for one, if an influencer has more than 100,000 followers, from our testing, I've launched hundreds of products on FameBit. From my testing, influencers that have over 100,000 followers do not as good, because what's happening with influencers that are, 1 million plus, they have huge reach, but they don't necessarily have that intimate connection with their audience. So if you can find an influencer with under 100,000 followers, they more than likely still have an intimate connection with their followers. So therefore, they're still answering probably comments. And if you have 1 million followers, you're probably not answering people's comments anymore on YouTube. If you have 1 million subscribers and 1 million followers on Instagram, you're probably not replying to anyone anymore. Under 100,000, you're still, talking to everybody, and so you still have that intimate connection. So therefore, if that influencer recommends a product, the audience is going to be more receptive to it. And from our testing, that's been the case. One of our best launches, we did over 120 sales in 2 hours. One of the best launches was with a YouTube influencer, and they only had, I think, 11,000 subscribers or something like that. It was under 15,000 for sure. And I was blown away. I was like, holy smokes. So we started experimenting with that, and the sweet spot is, under 100,000 followers. And you don't want to pay any more than $50. You can pay $100 if you want, but if you're just starting out, using influencers, it's good to, test a few at once. And again, make sure that the influencers you choose are closely related to your niche. For example, if you sell beauty products, hire a hair and makeup influencer. And if it's a hair product, for example, you're going to do killer with people who love makeup and people who do hair and things like that. And you don't want to pay too much, because again, you want to get a feel for which type of influencer are going to do best for your business. So paying $50, it spreads your risk. You can afford to hire. And this is just assuming you want to have a launch with a more conservative budget, let's just say. If you don't want to pay more, than $250 to get 5 influencers, that way you can test, 5 different types of influencers, maybe switch the variation of the niche a little bit, but still closely related to your product. And then from there, you can double down on which ones do the best, and then just double down on another launch. And also with influencers, you don't necessarily have to do a hardcore discount. The biggest discount we've ever done with an influencer was 40%. So, you can always do more. You're probably going to get a higher conversion rate, but the discount doesn't have to be so large for influencers, because they already have that trust established with their audience. So a 40%, 40 to 50% is about the sweet spot. It, puts a little bit more money in your pocket, and the customers or the audience that the influencer reaches out to are super stoked because they're getting an awesome discount. And so go ahead and use FameBit. Again, influencers, once you create an account, put your product out there, FameBit takes about a day to approve it, and then you're going to start getting emails, messages, from influencers in the platform. So wait about a few hours, maybe a whole day, until you get at least 10 influencers who've applied to your product. And the ideal category, or the ideal type of promotion you want to run, are YouTube. First, YouTube. Instagram is a bonus, but YouTube works the best. Instagram is a bonus, YouTube works the best. Say that to yourself 100 times, because Instagram's fine and all, but what makes YouTube so powerful, especially if you can do a product demo video, those are our best types of promotions, product demo videos. The customer actually gets to see the product in motion. So exactly that, they see it in motion. So it's creating an emotion inside the customer's eyes. So if you can have the influencer actually demoing the product, using it, that's going to be your highest converting promotion. Again, Instagram's a plus. It's pretty good still, but our best ones are YouTube. And not to mention, YouTube also has a long lifespan, because once they have a video on their list, it just basically stays there for infinity and beyond, basically. So once they have that video there, it just continues to rack up views as time goes on, and that's additional traffic you're going to be sprinkling into your listing, not necessarily right after the launch, but you continually, week after week after week, as it starts to get more views and people are looking for different things on YouTube. Guess what? You already have a video out there that's going to be an engine for long-term sales growth. So it's pretty powerful stuff. And you can see how, start to use 5 to 10 influencers. You have 10 videos out there circulating on YouTube. As time goes on, as they rack up more views, you can start to see how the sales start to contract into your listing, and it becomes a really powerful snowball that really takes momentum pretty quickly. So that's phase 1, influencers. And so let's go to phase 2. Now, phase 2 is my favorite. So phase 2 is the actual giveaways platform. Now, what I recommend is ZONRUSH. So if you go to www.zonrush.co, set up a launch and giveaway. What ZONRUSH does is they launch your Amazon products with chatbots, and you don't have to worry about paying any software fees. You don't have to worry about trial and error on writing copy, creating ads, no monthly fees on any of these services. And also, the opportunity cost, right? If you have quite a few products, let's say you're launching 5 products, the opportunity cost for you to learn through trial and error, since a launch, what makes a launch so crucial is the time constraint that you're in when your product is brand new. So if your product's in a time constraint, sure, you can, do this yourself. And I even have a video on how you can, launch this yourself. But if you've never done Facebook ads before, and especially if you've never, launched any products on Facebook ads, it's not going to be an easy learning process. So it's better to, hire professionals to help you attain your goals faster, considering that you have a time crunch, and it saves you so much money in the long run. And so that's why I love the the done for you services, because you don't have to worry about any of the trial and error. Go with the team. Always partner with people who are experts, and you're going to set yourself up for success. And ZONRUSH is the chatbot giveaway expert platform. So they take your product, they launch it to millions of buyers on Facebook. All you have to do is, as long as your listing's optimized, and they actually help you during the onboarding. So when you're onboarding with ZONRUSH, they're helping you, so you're never alone. They help you find the keywords. They make sure your listing's good to go. You get the green light. That way you have a successful launch on Facebook. So like I said, ZONRUSH leverages the power of Facebook chatbots, and Amazon loves organic traffic from Facebook. And the really cool thing about ZONRUSH too is that, most launch services, they use the same pool of career discount buyers. And, Amazon is no longer allowing these buyers to leave reviews. It's not necessarily just these buyers, but there was a whole apocalypse, this year where Amazon literally deleted millions of reviews from product listings, and a lot of the reviews that they deleted were, from people who are part and subscribe to these deal sites. And so it's best now to partner with somebody who doesn't use these deal sites where these, basically these buyer profiles are tagged, and they can't leave reviews, and the sales velocity and the sales ranking just isn't there anymore. And all the traffic, again, from ZONRUSH is 100% organic and therefore highly, highly effective. And buyers from Facebook are able to leave reviews even if they purchase your product at a deep discount. So that's pretty cool because, one, Facebook loves organic reach. You're essentially bringing Amazon new customers by driving external traffic. And if you dip into the same pool again, like I just said, from these other launch services, you're just dipping into the same pool of people. The launches just are not ranking as effectively. They still work, but if you want to maximize your effectiveness, right? If you want to, position yourself, it's better to start trying new ways to experiment with launching your products, right? You want to be on the cutting edge, and ZONRUSH is the cutting edge. And again, I'm not trying to bash any launch services at all. They still work. They're just not as effective, okay? So now getting into this, another reason why you want to steer away from these other deal sites is because there's this thing called listing hijacking. So what's happening now is customers are subscribing to these deal sites, getting your product for 99% off, and they're doing what's called retail arbitrage. So basically what retail arbitrage is someone gets it at a super deep discount and then they resell it on your listing. Now, it's a gray area if it's within the TOS or not. I don't think it is, but that's detrimental to a business because, what's happening is once you lose, so if someone buys your product, they buy, let's say 5 to 10 units, they submit them themselves to Amazon. It's literally your product. So it's going to be really hard to say that they're selling a counterfeit because they literally bought your product. And if they haven't used it, it's brand new, they have every right to, resell it on your listing. But it hurts your listing so much because, once you lose the buy box, generally they're going to want to, they only have 10 units. So they don't have much skin in the game where you may have, 1,000 units in the warehouse and you have all, you're all in on this launch. So what makes this so important is that when you're launching your product, again, those first 2 to 4 weeks are so important. When you're launching your product, you need every source of traffic firing on all cylinders. And the source I'm about to get into after, ZONRUSH is Amazon PPC. And what happens is when you get a hijacker on your listing, your PPC turns off. I mean, obviously, because if you have your PPC running and they go to your listing and buy, the other seller, it's the same product, they buy the other seller's product, you just paid, yes, for traffic to go to your listing, but you paid for, your hijacker to get the sale. So Amazon turns off your ads when you don't have the buy box. So if you can imagine, if there's 2 people on your listing and they're at the same price as you, you're going to have the buy box for only 12 hours. So that's 12 hours you're not going to be able to run ads. If there's 3 people, you can start to see how it decreases your the amount of time you're able to run ads on a daily basis. And if you don't have, ads running to your listing, again, that hurts your traction and it slows down the whole process. And again, the name of the game of succeeding on Amazon is, you don't lose that momentum and sales, and you are going to need PPC. So when the PPC campaigns are turned off because you got a hijacker, it hurts your listing, right? So that's also another reason why I love ZONRUSH so much, because ZONRUSH it's all the traffic from Facebook. There's no website where ZONRUSH promotes your product, to anybody, right? The ZONRUSH team, they do the Facebook ads for you. They launch your products. They have the funnels. They have the pixels, and it's 100% fresh traffic that they're targeting. And so, if a customer was trying to do retail arbitrage, there's no website for them to, you know, find your products, because this is all organic reach using Facebook ads. So that's what makes ZONRUSH incredibly powerful. I highly recommend ZONRUSH. And so what's pretty cool about ZONRUSH too is you don't have to do a giveaway of, you know, 99% off. Because ZONRUSH is so good at Facebook targeting, you can do a promotion, you know, between 20 to 40% off. I mean, obviously you're going to get better results if, let's say, you do an 80% discount max. But since the traffic is targeted and you're putting an offer in front of millions of, you know, eager buyers on Facebook or using Facebook ads, you can get away with a 20 to 40% promotion. So that's even better for you, because, you know, that's more money in your pocket. And I believe if a customer, even if they get a 20% discount from you and they leave a review, it'll still come up as verified. So that's incredibly powerful as well. And again, the name of the game is traction. The promotion, you know, for optimal results will run for 15 days. And then, you know, once you start getting the reviews and rankings, ZONRUSH also has follow-up emails that they do inside, you know, their chatbot sequences, where they're following up with customers, making sure they're using them, and also getting you those reviews. And, you know, Messenger gets an 80% open rate and has a 60% click-through rate, whereas email is, you know, 20% open rate and 5% click-through rate if you're, you know, keep crushing it on email. So as you can see, not to mention Amazon also, a lot of people on Amazon have unsubscribed from receiving solicitations from sellers. So a lot of your email requests just aren't going through anymore. And if you're launching with chatbots, you can message a customer. It's completely within TOS. ZONRUSH does this for you. You're able to get in front of your customer, get those reviews much faster, because you're not targeting, you know, snail mail, which is basically email now. You're now in their inbox, you know, right then and there. And we've gotten, just with ZONRUSH, like in 1 hour, 25 reviews. Like, I kid you not, 25 reviews. And that was, you know, before when we were doing the email sequence, before, you know, a lot of this new technology started coming out, it was, you could not get 25 reviews in an hour. Maybe if you were doing thousands of units perhaps, but so it's pretty powerful stuff, because you're literally leveraging the power of ZONRUSH. So getting into that, let's go into PPC. All right, so now finally, Amazon PPC. Now, with phase 3, the PPC setup, you're gonna structure it like a funnel. So let's go ahead and dig into how exactly this funnel is gonna look on Amazon. So you're gonna create 3 campaigns per product. So this is gonna be a lot of campaigns if you're launching about 5 products. But you know, you got to do the work, and I'll show you some resources towards the end that can help you do this. If you have 5+ products, and just doing some of this stuff is really going to take up too much time for you. So, but basically, what this is gonna look like for each product you're gonna launch is you're gonna have 3 campaigns with 3 different match types. So the purpose of having 3 campaigns running simultaneously is to maximize your product reach at different bid levels in the Amazon auction. So what that means is Amazon has, you know, a pricey click option, a moderate click option, and the low priced click option. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have your product show up on all 3 different bid tiers, and it actually it's not as expensive as it's going to sound. And you probably never heard of anything like this. I got this exact strategy from, so I also have a Shopify store, and you know, it's crushing it. And what really got me to the 6-figure mark on my Shopify store was my ability to drive traffic from Google. And the way I did that was I filtered and funneled my ads to rotate exactly like this with Google Shopping and all that. So I figured if I can have that same philosophy and show up on the different bid tiers on Amazon for, you know, X, Y, and Z keywords, you're going to make more sales, because Amazon has, you know, low price clicks for sale. They have, you know, the suggested bid clicks for sale, and they also have really expensive clicks for sale. So you want to be on all 3 of those, and this is going to dominate your presence on the Amazon search And again, this is so important. The first 30 days, really, the name of the game isn't necessarily profiting. The name of the game is, okay, getting as many sales as possible. And the best way to do that is to overwhelm your competition by putting your product on all 3 different bid tiers. And in addition to that, I'm going to actually show you how to do 3 different campaign types. So the very first campaign is going to be an auto campaign, and you're going to leave the suggested bid exactly as Amazon gives you, and so you don't want to touch that. Amazon's going to give you a suggested bid. Leave it alone. That way your campaign will start gaining traction. So if you do it a little too high, you're going to spend way too much money. And if you do it too low, you're just not going to get any impressions. So leave it at the suggested bid. And depending on what your budget is, a strong place to start, especially during the launch, would be about $25, and let that running on with an auto campaign. And the auto campaign is pretty powerful because yes, it shows your product on in the broad sense, but what it also does is it actually puts your product also. I don't know, when you're on Amazon.com and you look at your competitors, let's say for example, you'll notice on the desktop on the actual listing, it'll say there'll be a little bar of products there that will say similar sponsored products, right, or related sponsored products, something like that. That's where your product's going to go. So you're actually able to target Amazon targets your competitors. They put your listing on your competitors' listings, and if you have a better offer than your competitors, you're going to convert better. So auto campaigns do that. You can also manually do that in a targeted campaign. Recently, Amazon just adjusted that, but that's what primarily auto campaign was for. And if you don't necessarily know all the keywords you're gonna convert the highest on, you can only do so much research up front on keywords. It's best to actually put your product on the Amazon marketplace with an auto campaign and begin to extract the keywords that the campaign gives you, so that way you can see, okay, maybe there was a few keywords in there that you're converting the highest on, but you never really considered being 100% relevant to your product. And again, the auto campaign is basically just for mining all the keyword data and implementing that after about a week or 2 into manual campaigns. So campaign 2 is going to be a manual campaign, and this is where you're going to put the keywords that you've already researched. Okay, so you've already done some research, and you're going to make sure that you're going to only target 5 keywords for the second campaign, and these 5 keywords are going to be an exact match campaign. Okay, so what these keywords are going to do is, when you're selling on Amazon, you already have a good understanding of the search volume, right? You use some tools, you saw the search volume, you know which keywords have high volume and low competition. You want to rank for those keywords first. And now it's better to rank for long tail keywords with, again, decent volume. That way, if you can rank on page 1 for, let's say, 5 to 10 long tail keywords, that's going to push your ranking for some of those juicier keywords for you as time goes on. So they'll literally catapult you to page 1 because you have your product on so many keywords. So, and these keywords, again, are easier to rank for when they're long tail. So this first campaign, target max 5 keywords. And again, make sure that these keywords are an exact match campaign. An exact match type. And you're going to want to put the bid 20 to 40% above Amazon's suggested bid. Okay, so you get the keywords from the keyword tool. You want to rank for these keywords. You're putting them in Amazon PPC. And the reason why you're going to up the bid 20 to 40% is because it's better to pay more for the keywords you want to rank for, because when you get a sale, when someone goes to Amazon.com, and I'll give you an example here. So if someone's on Amazon.com and you're selling charcoal teeth whitening powder, and if that keyword gets exactly as is, pretty decent volume, you're going to want to pay more for that keyword, because if someone types that in, sees your ad, buys your product, Amazon marks that on your listing and they say, okay, they typed in this keyword and they bought their product. So especially when your product's brand new, it's best to pay more for those clicks because they have ranking juice behind them, where Broad and Phase don't necessarily have ranking juice because you don't know exactly what keyword a customer's typing in. Therefore, you're going to want to up your bid for the keywords that you can have as much control as possible. and laser target the keywords on an exact match campaign, because if you do more than 5, you're going to spend your budget pretty quickly, and again, you're not consolidating those sales to the target keywords that you want. So it's better to only have, max 5, up the bid 20 to 40%. You're going to pay more for clicks. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to convert at a higher rate, but it is going to mean that when you do convert, it's going to count. Okay, so always pay more for exact match. And for the third campaign, I'm pretty sure you can guess this. It's going to be a broad campaign, and I think I did this out of order here. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, cool. So it's right here, 20 to 40% above. And again, campaign 3 now, you want to use up to 30 keywords. Right? This is your third campaign for still one product, and make sure the keywords, the settings are set to broad. And when you're putting in the bid, you're gonna put the bid 20 to 40% below Amazon's suggested bid. And the purpose for this is, again, to get sales. And lastly, make sure you set the daily budget to at least 25 for this to ensure you get impressions during your launch. And so the reason why you're down bidding, again, is because you don't want to pay too much money for a keyword, for a sale on Amazon ads that are not going to contribute to your keyword rank. So broad campaigns are good, to get sales, here and there. But it's best to pay less for these because, again, you don't know the keywords, you don't know the exact phrase the customer's typing in, and so you want to save that budget for the exact match. So the priciest campaign you're going to have is the exact match. One of the cheaper ones you should have is the broad, and it can be highly profitable for you if you follow the formula I just laid out to you. 20 to 40% below for broad. And you don't want to be too low, but you definitely don't want to be anywhere near your exact match. So a good rule of thumb I always do, 20-40% below Amazon suggested bid is a really good place to be at. So now, okay, so here's in summary what the Bazooka launch strategy is going to look like for you. So your launch should have 3 moving parts to it, okay? Traffic, sales are coming in from influencers using FameBit, and ideally you want to prime them to be on the same day, right? So that we can consolidate your influencers on the same day, have 5 to 10 influencers promote your product on the exact same day. You're going to laser target, sales. You're going to have a huge spike, and there's rumors that it works to get a large amount of sales in one day. Why not do both? Why not have huge spikes and also continue to run a campaign with ZONRUSH for 1 to 2 weeks? Use both of them. That's what I do. I do large spikes and I do daily promotions. Still, I don't turn off. I don't do one or the other. I do both. And FameBit's a good place to start to do just that, to get a high amount of sales in a short period of time, like a day. So you're going to use FameBit. That's part 1. Part 2, ZONRUSH.co. They're going to be the angel on your shoulders, launching your product with Facebook chatbots, highly effective. And so ZONRUSH even has a super URL with a timestamp in it. So it's unique because it's like an upgrade from. It's an upgrade from a 2-step URL, but I know ZONRUSH also uses a 2-step URL. They use quite a few URLs because if you can get more traffic from different URL sources, you're going to rank better. But one of their best URLs is it actually has a timestamp on it, so it's pretty powerful stuff. And part 3 is, like we just went over, the Amazon PPC setup. So when you have all 3 parts moving at the same time, you are setting up your Amazon listing for maximum exposure. And sales will be consolidated within a 15-day period, and that means traffic, okay? You have your FameBit running, you have your ZONRUSH campaign going, and you have your Amazon PPC campaigns running. Death by traffic. You're driving an influx of sales to your listing, and you're basically going to slingshot your way, past the competition, because a lot of people use different sources scattered throughout. But what I like to do to ensure, to ensure success and to ensure maximum exposure and maximum results for all the launches I do, I make sure to have as many as many tools, as many things running at the exact same time to armor myself and to position myself way past my competition. So that's why I do the bazooka strategy. It's basically a huge explosion of sales in a consolidated period of time, 2 to 4 weeks. And the little graph here just basically shows you where a lion's share of the traffic comes from on the first 30 days. So ZONRUSH plays a huge part in it. Influencers, this can vary. It can go up to like maybe 30%. So just make sure that your influencers that you're using are 100% relevant, and use a few influencers when you're doing this. And then obviously Amazon PPC. It's pretty powerful because you're just leveraging the platform itself where customers are already searching for your product. So this is what the graph looks like for the overall Bazooka launch summary. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and quickly again cover this. Concentration is key. 80% of your success will be attributed to how successful your launch is. Most people focus on only one aspect, but rarely do people apply laser type focus. And this doesn't just apply for a launch. This applies for anything in life. If you can apply laser type focus in everything you're doing, I like the little picture. Looks pretty cool, huh? If you can apply laser type focus on on a skill set or whatever you're trying to do, you're going to get optimal results much faster. So that's the same. So I apply that basic logic to Amazon. So when you're utilizing all three, you'll leap over your competitors, because I promise you, your competitors are not leveraging all of these sources of traffic at the same time during their launch. So here are some of the results with the Bazooka launch strategy. Okay, so a lot of people ask, are reviews necessary for a launch? Well, they do help for sure. I mean, of course, the reviews are going to help your launch, but they're not absolutely necessary. So here's a launch I did. I got the #1 new release, 0 reviews. I blocked out the category here. #1 new release, and as you can see here, it says be the first to review this item, which means we got to page 1, we got #1 new release, 0 reviews, and we stayed there, and we're still there. And basically what that does is, if you have a super strong launch, you got all the sales, you got the velocity. Once you're on page 1, all of the organic traction that you're going to get, especially having badges like this, #1 new release, it gets customers excited. You don't even necessarily need reviews. If you have that badge that Amazon gives you, you're pretty golden, because customers are going to trust that, and they're going to say, wow, people love this product, let me get it. And then that's where you're going to start to getting your organic reviews. So are reviews necessary? Nope. Are they necessary to have a successful launch? Not at all. As you can see here, be the first to review, #1 new release. That tells you that you can get top positioning without any reviews. Okay, so rank at light speed. As you can see here, top 1, top 6. Look at the jump in keyword positioning. Here it is, right here. Boop, right, launch. I mean, not launch. It's live, getting everything ready. And then boom, about after that 7th day, skyrocket. It's all right here. And these are dramatic changes in keyword positioning. Over almost 4,000, positions moved, and plus 1,500 here. I mean, this is not, 100. This is dramatic leap in keyword positioning when you apply the strategy I just did. This isn't for competition. This is for people who want to dominate selling on Amazon. So the proof is right here, super powerful. And now let's actually go over, now that we've already gone over some of the results, let's go over post-launch. So I don't see a lot of people, once they're focused on the launch, I see a lot of people ask me, okay, now what? So it's really important that, once you have a strong launch, that you start to begin implementing marketing strategies that keep your rank and keep the sales flowing in. So this is how a launch on average looks like. So after you launch, keep the price low up until you get at least 25 reviews. Okay, so if you do a launch and let's say you get 5 to 10 reviews and you want to double your price because maybe it is a premium, excuse me, maybe it is a premium price product. It could be the best product in the world. But if you only have 5 or 10 reviews, even if they're verified, even if you have 5 to 10 reviews, it's going to be really hard for you to justify your price to a customer who sees maybe your competitor has, let's say, 50 to 100 reviews or maybe more. If they have 100 plus reviews that are stellar and they're cheaper, a customer is going to probably lean towards that option. So again, you don't want to leave a whole lot of these things to chance. You probably do have the best product in the world, but in order for you to price it like it's the best product in the world, go ahead and have the social proof like it's the best product in the world. So if you're overpriced, if you double your price after your launch, it can hurt the entire process that you just invested money in, because if you double your price, it's going to decrease your conversions. And if you're doing that, again, a launch, it's crucial in those first 30 days, but you have to nurture it 60 to 90 days out. And the way to nurture that is just to continue to build those reviews. And the safest way to get reviews is just organic reach, right? So I don't use any review groups, none of that stuff. It's name of the game. I make sales, hardcore PPC, ZONRUSH, influencers, small discounts with influencers, and organically get the reviews. And then once you start passing, that 25 review mark, you can start to up your price slowly and begin to take your market share that way, okay? But don't just double it right after the launch and say, okay, I'm set, because you're gonna hurt your conversions. And again, it's not a get rich quick overnight. This is a long-term strategy that you're implementing. This launch strategy is just getting you the booster rockets, so then that you can now begin to nurture your brand on Amazon. So post-launch, sales typically grow by 20% week after week. So this is, again, on average, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. It doesn't necessarily look this pretty. Sometimes it can just go up. Sometimes it can have a little dip here in a week and go up. There are a lot of factors that go into this. So, this is what I've seen after launching over 100 products. And now, keep in mind, every niche is dramatically different. There's so many variables that differ drastically. So this is just to give you some sort of a visual. After your launch, keep your price steady, focus on those reviews, and you're gonna start to see an increase in sales, by about 20% week after week. And that's gonna tell you, again, slowly but surely, as those reviews increase, you're increasing your keyword positioning, you're increasing your conversions, and therefore, you're gonna start to slowly, or sometimes quickly, increase your overall product reach on the marketplace. So when you do that, you're gonna start to see your sales obviously increase week after week. So, and again, here's a little disclaimer there. You can check it out. And lastly, so that basically covers it. Here's a resource guide for you right here. So the keyword tracking at Cerebro tool that I mentioned above. I spelled listing wrong, forgot the G there, sorry about that. Helium 10, if you guys use this code, you'll get 50% off on your first month. So if you don't have to pay full price, well, I showed you, right? Sorry. And for PPC management, if you have over 5 products, I really suggest using ZONRUSH. They have some of the best results of it in the industry for Amazon. They also have listing optimization. So if you have a few products and you don't know where to start with listing optimization, but you need to get these products to market right away, go ahead and power with the power players in the industry. Use ZONRUSH. Their listing optimization team is stellar. They're experts. They've done hundreds of listings, so you can partner with them to do your listing if you want to outsource some of this stuff. And also, don't forget, if you do want to use ZONRUSH, you can get a $50 credit on your very first launch. Just get the code here, ZON50, and you can use it at checkout. And actually, this code for $50 will apply to the PPC management and to the listing optimization. So if you use this code, it's going to work on all 3 of these services. So I highly recommend using these if you want to outsource some of this stuff and get killer results right away. And of course, do the ZONRUSH launch. It's super powerful. Save 50 bucks on it. And just to show you how powerful, not only the launch, so the launch results here were all from ZONRUSH, right? This is with ZONRUSH chatbots. Boom, boom, killer results. And here's results with ZONRUSH PPC management. So as you can see right here, some of these campaigns, I know they have like 1 to 2% ACoS, which is crazy. And what they do is, just like I said, they build funnels, they have softwares that help them automate a lot of this stuff, and they are like hawks, right? They watch your product like hawks. So the average ACoS across all their clients is about 19%. Here's a recent one I got for you, and you can see here, pretty stellar. Partner with people, bring people into your team that are hungry for your success. That way you can set yourself up for success, right? If you can bring giants on board with you to help you with your launch, you're never alone through the process. You're teaming up with power players, and again, having these people on your team really help position yourself for long-term growth. So this is pretty incredible, and that's basically it, guys. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comment. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and the bonus are these little coupons here. Save 50%, right? There you go, and save $50 on all of these services with ZONRUSH. And again, please subscribe to my channel if you guys love content like this. I hope you guys have received tons of value from this video. Tag a seller, share this video so that way people can start doing product launches like experts, right? And I'm going to actually include this PDF, this booklet, in the link along with ZONRUSH. The link's going to be there too. But if you want to download this for free, again, this is in my online course, so I'm going to give this to you guys for free. You can download this PDF. That way you can keep it, look through it, and analyze it and keep it with you forever. So yeah, you can download this resource in the links below. And I hope you guys love this training. I will see you on the next one. Hope you're crushing it.